They would perform air shows for the public, and every once in a while they would do what we're about to see right now, wingwalking. And just airborne with the smoke belching out of the bottom side of that Grumman Egg Cat is Mike Tryggvason in the cockpit, and with him is his wife, Wingwalker Sam. To that strut that you see on the top wing, and Mike Tryggvason is going to fly a whole bunch of different aerobatics with her hanging on for dear life.
She's nuts. That's all I've got to say right now. No, really, let me tell you about the airplane. Of course, the Grumman Egg Cat, built by the Grumman Aircraft Corporation. All their airplanes, almost all their airplanes, were named Cat, Tomcat, Hellcat, etc. Well, this is the Egg Cat because it was originally designed, first aircraft actually designed from the ground up to be a crop duster. Now, this one, of course, has been slightly modified. It has a 450 horsepower Pratt & Whitney R985 radial engine, a custom smoke system that you're going to see work into magic in a moment. Of course, that wing rack on the top, where Sam says is the best seat in the air show.
So what we're going to see here is Mike Tryggvason climbing for a little bit of altitude in that 450 horsepower Egg Cat. And when they're ready to go, they're going to fly over the field, and you're going to hear that giant engine go quiet. Altitude index. How many of you seem interested in actually trying wingwalking? Is that something that you'd like to do? I see some thumbs up, I see some hands, and I see some thumbs down.
I see some crazy people.
I'm pretty sure that the people who raised their hands have enjoyed at least one adult lollipop. All right, let's listen close. Keep an eye on the airplane. There, it goes quiet. Right now, Sam is unstrapping from the jump seat. She is climbing to the top strut. We want to pull the engine back to idle, otherwise she'd be blown off the wing of the aircraft. Now this airplane is quite heavy, so it has a pretty good sink rate as the airplane comes to idle. And now as they turn away from us, you can see that Sam has indeed strapped herself into that strut. She is standing on the top wing of the Egg Cat, being flown today by Mike Tryggvason. I sure hope they haven't had any kind of argument today.
No kidding.
Because this performance requires a lot of teamwork and coordination, and I would imagine communication using hand signals.
Now, if the name Mike Tryggvason kind of triggers a memory, he flew here in a Giles, a very small, extremely aerobatic airplane that a lot of people thought was a radio-controlled model because it would spin around so fast and be so small. Yeah, the air show smoke comes on. Watch what happens here. He's now flying this great big Egg Cat, modified, well, in a big way because Sam is on the top as the air show smoke pouring up the back end. Back on the street we go. Up over the top. She is hanging upside down on that top wing. You can see her waving her arms around there, and my friend, it's like standing in a hurricane.
That's right, Roy. You can't breathe properly when you're doing a performance like this. She either has to put her hand up against her mouth so she can get a little breath of air, or she does a little bit of a gasp every so once in a while. Look at that beautiful hammerhead there at the western end of the field. Lots of airspeed on the airspeed indicator as Mike pulls the Egg Cat through a full roll right there on show center. Look at that, Sam hanging on for dear life, but because her arms are waving out there, we know she is good to go and having a grand time. When she's not at air shows, Sam works in the commercial space industry where she makes maneuver recommendations for space science missions as a satellite collision avoidance engineer. There's the big barrel roll right there at show center. Imagine a big drum lying on its side. Mike Tryggvason just took the Egg Cat right around the inside of that barrel roll. Sam also served for several years in the military as a combat airfield operations air traffic controller And whether it's space or air traffic control, she says her entire professional career has revolved around risk mitigation. And wingwalking is no different. It's a thrilling challenge that requires this duo to identify every failure mode and engineer their performance around it. Climbing for a little bit more altitude there. Mike Tryggvason with Wingwalker Sam on the top wing.
Mike is a mechanical engineer and airline pilot who has designed experimental equipment used aboard the International Space Station and has even built rockets designed to go to space. Sure, he didn't star on Big Bang Theory. Sounds like he fit right in. Together, Sam and Mike, they do credit discipline, curiosity, and a shared appreciation of math and science to the repeatable success of their high-flying performance you are watching here today.
Diving right back into show center. They want to keep this performance right in front of us, and up they go. Another big barrel roll there. You can see Sam against the sky. They are having a grand old time up there. Together, Sam and Mike credit discipline, curiosity, and a shared appreciation of math and science to the repeatable success of their performance you're seeing here today. Look at that wing over there at the west end of the field. Let's see what they're going to do next. A nice climber pass again. Seeing Wingwalker Sam standing out there in the breeze. I bet she's getting a little bit of an in-flight catering service.
I was just going to say that, probably dodges bugs.
It's not quite as good as the amazing food that we had here on the announcer stage for lunch. But you got to take your protein when you can get your protein. All right, doing a bunch of turns there at Show Center. Again, Wingwalker Sam waving to us. Now, for those of you who expressed interest in wingwalking, let me tell you Sam's story of how she got into wingwalking. At 22, she dreamed of becoming a pilot, but her entry-level job couldn't cover the high cost of flight training. So determined, she sought a second job when she applied to be a wingwalker for a team in Oklahoma. She completed her first season performing in air shows in 2014. And between both jobs, had saved enough to cover her flight training. That following spring, she flew every day after work and earned her license in just 1 month. You know, some people polished airplanes in order to pay for their flying lessons. Wingwalker Sam, she did wingwalking to pay for her pilot's license.
I'll stick with polishing airplanes. All right, they're sponsored by, and how appropriate is this? Flying Wired Coffee Company keeps this duo properly caffeinated for every adventure. Today you can order the same specialty coffee Sam and Mike enjoy every day at FlyingWiredCoffee.com.
There she is, waving to us as Mike Tryggvason flies down the show line. Give her a wave back. As they go by, she can see you. Let her know how much you appreciate her performance here today. This is classic airshow action. A great big, smoky, loud biplane and a wingwalker. Once again, we haven't seen a wingwalking act here at this airshow for many, many years. It's good to see that the art of wingwalking is still alive and well. Now, folks, Wingwalker Sam needs to get off of that top wing and get back in the jump seat so that Mike Tryggvason can bring that egg cat, affectionately known as the Airshow cat, back down onto terra firma. He can't do that with her on the top wing. You know, Roy, I asked Mike a couple of days ago if having Sam up there on the top wing changes the aerodynamics of the airplane, and he said, this is a big, draggy airplane. There's lots of struts and wires out there. Don't even notice that she's up there on the wing. All right, the engine's gone quiet. That means Sam is maneuvering it down from the top wing and strapping herself up in the jump seat. And as that big, bright, windy engine comes to life, we see that Sam has indeed put herself back into the jump seat. What did you think of that, Abbotsford? Wingwalker Sam with Mike Tryggvason at the controls of the Egg Cat.
All right, well, we do have a very special guest with us on here. And picture time, there we go. Gotta do the Instagram thing. Melissa Burns is here, and I thought you were coming up here to talk to us because you love us so much. But no, there's an ulterior motive, isn't there?
Well, I do have the big go-kart to fill out, and while the kids are at the zoo getting a selfie with the kangaroo, I thought I'd come up here. It gives me a great excuse to see my good friends.
Ah, there you go. You've been redeemed. It is so good to have you here. Last night was very, very special for you.
It was my very first night routine. I've been flying air shows for over 20 years, and it's been a dream for many years. So to have it happen in Abbotsford, pretty much our backyard for Bellingham, was extremely special.
It was a fantastic show. I know the crowd really loved it. What can we expect from you today?
So today is going to be a little different than the night show. I will actually be doing a high-performance aerobatic routine in the Edge 540, which is what it was made for. But looking straight out from the Airboss Tower, I will be cutting a series of ribbons. The top one being at 23 feet, which I cut upside down.